Okay, and welcome to Retech. I've just got this. It's a little late. It was meant to be here on the launch date, but you know, as you saw in my previous video, that didn't happen. But it arrived a few days ago, and we've basically in the middle of a bit of a storm at the moment. As you might hear on the mic every now and again, it's a little bit blowy to say the least. I think there's about 90-mile-an-hour winds kicking about. But you know, we're just going to crack on with it. So if you hear a little bit of wind, then please try and ignore it. This arrived a few days ago, and it's the Spectrum by Retro Games. It's nicely packaged. It's a good looking box. It actually has very similar colors to the original ZX Spectrum box, and other than the on the back of the original Spectrum box you had how to plug it in and so on, this is kind of very subdued marketing. It's quite nice. It's very nice the way it's packaged. The quality of the material is very good, and on the side it says features. Emulates a ZX Spectrum 1648 128 plus 2 and plus 2A, which is good. It says got start, resume and save game, rewinds up to 40 seconds of gameplay, multiple display options and CRT filter, which is nice. Play the games with 1 or 2 attractive frames. So basically it just tries to cut down the kind of the border size on these original computers. So it's kind of emulating the border. So it seems to be 720p HD, 50 and 60 Hertz via HDMI. So yeah, you can connect your own devices via USB. And in the box we have a Spectrum with a fully working keyboard, which is nice, cables, HDMI, USB-C, Spectrum introduction booklet and the Crash magazine issue, and the AC adapter is not included. Like everything else in the EU as well, they've stopped including AC adapters a long time ago with products, which kind of gets annoying now and again, because sometimes you do kind of run out of these things to plug your stuff in, especially if you've got more than 1 or 2 items around the house. So anyway, it looks good. I'll give them that. The packaging looks really nice. As in most of the retro game stuff, the packaging really kind of sells the product, and this is no different. So we're just going to pop it open and see what it's all about. Now before I start, I'm not going to do this is a brilliant little ZX Spectrum review with all the booklets and that. You've seen all of that. It's a little late simply because it just arrived late. So I'm going to kind of change that up a little bit and just go and talk about what the product is like. Okay, so yeah, it's just going to be similar to the Commodore, the C64 review and the VIC-21 I did a little while ago, a long time ago now. It's just going to be as it is. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. Right, okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this is just open the box. Okay, so literally gonna slide the covers off without tearing them. I do quite like keeping these in good condition because, you know, I quite like collecting these. They're a nice little thing to collect. So we have the box, the inner box from the outer box, and it looks quite nice. I like just the black and white kind of look of this. It's really nice. So we're just going to open it up, and inside you'll find a nicely packaged ZX Spectrum. Okay, so that's here, and it's really nicely done. So in the box you have a ZX Spectrum, and I'm just going to try and take the tray out without damaging it. So probably the best way is to tip it forward and then to get everything out. So it's nicely packaged, which is nice. So underneath you have obviously the little Spectrum introduction guide, which is nice, and then followed by what is or looks like a kind of Crash magazine, which is here, which is kind of based on the old ZX Spectrum magazines of the time period. It's a nice little touch. I mean, all of these little touches are really good. And then in the bottom, I assume it's just your standard power lead in the bottom of the box. Under here, which should just be a standard power lead, I believe. Let's have a look. Yep. So it just looks like it's a normal power lead and HDMI cable, which is nice. Okay, that's nice, it's all included. I've got a few of these, so I'm just going to leave these in the box and just pop it back. Keep it out of the way. So that's the box and that's the detail. So we're just going to get the Spectrum out of its packaging. So that's what we're going to do now. So ZX Spectrum, and we're just going to take it out of its packaging. I'm just going to tip it forward and do it out. It's a nice tight fit though, it is really nicely done. So packaging at the back, little plastic case, and there we have it. It's a nice looking machine. So yeah, very nice. Looks exactly the same as a real ZX Spectrum. And oh, I might have made a bit of a mistake. I think I put the wrong one back in the box. You can see ZX Spectrum here. Now I'm being a little bit cheeky here because this is not the Spectrum that comes in the box. This is mine. This is my ZX Spectrum that I built, which I featured in the last video, and 4 years ago now I built this one. And it's it uses exactly the same case as the new ZX Spectrum that comes in this box. So yeah, just a little bit of a kind of joke really, but it just shows you that this machine that I built 4 years ago is just about what you get in this box. It looks the same, it feels the same, it's got the same case, the same texture on the case, the same everything. So I'm just going to bring the other one up for a moment. This is the actual one you get in the box, and other than the logos on the top, they're exactly the same. Everything about it is the same because they're made by the same company. They're made by the same company who, or rather the cases are made by the same company who did the Elite Systems one, which is what this was built around many years ago. So yeah, so let's go on to this one. Okay, so obviously it's an Elite System style case, or the same molds, exactly the same molds. I believe it's probably by the same people, and it's a nice looking unit. I mean, they've even got the same on the bottom, where the two different molds of the plastic are very slightly different, top and bottom on each case. So you got a darker and a shinier one on the bottom, and there's no difference. It's exactly the same machine or mold. So on the back of this one you have, which is quite nice. I mean, I'm not hitting on this, but it's really funny how it's taken them that long to actually come up with this idea. We have power, you've got DC in, which again USB-C, you've got your HDMI, and you have quite a few USB ports and your home button on there, which is nice. And you know, they're roughly exactly the same. I mean, I've cut out mine at the back to fit a different board in to make it work, but it's, you know, most of the stuff's in roughly the same place, and it's exactly the same case. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. It's a really good use of reusing somebody else's molds and work, so that's a good thing. So all the hard work really has already been done in producing this case, and to be honest, I would have done exactly the same if I was in the same kind of hands as Retro Games. I would have been looking to reuse maybe the Elite Systems case, and it just makes total sense. So it's not detracting from the model at all, but some of the hyperbole around it and what they said about, you know, the design of the case and so on, maybe not exactly how it really happened, but then again, this is advertising. Okay, so we're going to now turn it on. We're going to get rid of this one, and we're going to turn on the Retro Games ZX Spectrum, or the Spectrum from Retro Games. Right, okay, so we have the Spectrum set up here, and we're just going to power it on. So just with the on button and just see what comes up. Okay, so it's going to be English, quick television test. Yep, good. Okay, so I've just taken the studio lights down, just to give you an idea of what it's like. So far I'm quite impressed. I'm always impressed with these products. They're really well designed. They're nice. They've got a kind of a very polished aesthetic about them, and so far, you know, although I've taken the mick a little bit because they were 4 years behind, nearly 5 years behind, honestly, from what I've done in the past to build one of these. But you know, I've always liked them. The only ones that I've never liked are the Atari 400. Probably because I was never into it. I had one, and I didn't like that machine very much anyway, so I didn't have that very long when I was a kid. And the Amiga Mini, never liked that because I built a full-scale Amiga anyway. Yeah, I'd already done that way before, years before, in fact, they decided to bring out an Amiga Mini, and I preferred the full-scale mod with a working keyboard, looks like an Amiga and so on. But that's me. But the rest of them, the Commodore 64, the VIC-20, all of that kind of thing, really, really good. So let's just pick a game. And so, I mean, everything about this is nice. I mean, I do, you know, I don't want to knock it because I do like them. I don't want to knock any of their products because at the end of the day, you know, we've all got our favourites. Obviously, a 128 version to buy the music. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to play them. I'm just going to go and give you an idea of what I think is good. Now I'm going to force a restart here just to see how easily or quickly it keeps the settings. And it seems to be really, really good. I mean, I don't have any issues. Now you can redefine the keys. Save games are on there, which is good. And let's just flick along some of the games that are on here. I mean, some of them are Spellbound. Yeah, that's one of the kind of staple games from when I was a little one. Some of them I haven't seen before, which is quite odd. I think some of the newer 128 games on here, kind of when I moved across into Amigas and PCs and STs, so Horoscope Scheme, one of the early ones, I've seen that one for a long time. So I haven't seen this for a long time, but you can tell it's an early game. It seems to be an early game, so it's you know, it is what it is. It's you can see how the gaming on the Spectrum kind of really did come on in leaps and bounds. So we're just going to try another one, just out of fairness, something a little different. As I say, the games seem to run alright. They're just a very good emulation of the games that you can get on a PC or an Android phone, or a Pi or something similar, and it's exactly what you'd expect. And it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing because it works really well. The only kind of downside, I'm wondering if you've already got a ZX Spectrum and something similar to a Max Duino or something similar to Load and Save Your Games from, or if you've got an emulator on your PC or your phone even. So what's the advantage of getting a replica ZX Spectrum, either like this one that I built years ago, or one of the new Retro Games ones, or even a Commodore 64, or any of the other kind of modern clones of basically classic hardware? Well, the thing is, they're convenient. You got all the games in one place. You can use everything that you want to use on them without worrying about connecting to TVs, modern TVs and so on. And they're really, really good at emulating the original hardware, so they look and feel exactly the same. And that's the good thing about these. Now, the minis I was never so sure about, because I figured if you're going to go to the expense of buying one of these and you're going to use it, then you needed something that you could actually press the keys on and use it like you did the original hardware. It doesn't give you the full experience. Now, this is what these are all about. Now, the Commodore 64, the VIC-20, the ZX Spectrum, as in this version, fantastic, really good pieces of kit, work really well. Now, the minis, not so much so. I don't rate the minis, but that's personal choice. Some people love them, but I think if you're going to spend the money on a mini, you might as well spend a few extra pounds or dollars or euros on getting something that actually works like the original, and it gives you the full experience. Now, as far as the Retro Games models are concerned, they're very slick. They're very well put together. They're very well presented, and to be honest, I don't have any issues with them at all. I think it's a really great way of getting into the retro scene without all of the hassle and expense. But if you've got a current ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, Amiga and so on, an original vintage one, so to speak, then what are the advantages of using a recreated one, or the ZX Spectrum from Retro Games, or the Commodore 64? Well, to be honest, it's convenience, and it's also, it's going to work for a long time into the future, where the original hardware does fail from time to time and you might have to keep repairing it. So if you want a quick retro hit and you power up one of these type of things, a modern recreation, then it's going to do the job. So yeah, they're very good at doing that, and hats off to Retro Games for bringing it to the forefront of the kind of next generation of potential users as well. But I suppose a lot of people are going to be buying these for a nostalgia point of view, which is good as well, which is great. So my overall opinion of the Retro Games products is they're generally very good. They're very slick. Their marketing's very good. Their packaging's excellent. Their attention to detail is very, very good. What do I think of them taking nearly 5 years to bring out what was already out there? I think they were a bit slow off the mark, but I think, they got there eventually, and I also think that, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing that these are out there for the public at large as well. This is not a gushing, oh, look at this game kind of review. This is a review of the hardware, the look, the feel, the type, what it can do, what it does for you, and what a potential new owner is going to think of one of these, especially if they've never used one before. So the games are a moot point because everyone will find their own favourites or install their own favourites as they go along. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this. I'm going to do more and more retro stuff going forward. I've got a lot to do, not a massive amount of spare time, but this is just about having fun as well. And I've got to put together some more music ones and some more retro keyboardy linked to old computer style ones. Also building new models. I might see if I can build my own version of something else a little bit further down the line. So yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do that. So it's just one of those things. It's just getting together a kind of a narrative and the time to do it. So I will do it, it's not a problem. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you soon. And I'm going to do a little bit more on the electronic side. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you soon, and go buy one of these if you're interested. They're genuinely good products, okay? Even though I did kind of take the mick a little bit out of them and give them a hard time. But yeah, these kind of things will keep this brand, as in the Spectrum brand, alive for probably a lot longer than the original hardware a little bit further down the line. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.